Nation of Fitin10, welcome to day 17. And if you have not sent me your feedback, please do so. www.trainonmain.com/Fitin10 check-in, all one word. That link that I just mentioned is in your macro email. So just give it a click and send me your feedback. I want to help you. This helps you to be more accountable and it allows me to answer any of your questions, okay? So send me your feedback. Speaking of feedback, let's get right to it. This person asks, when does our body give up / start burning stored body fat? Well, the reality is that your body is actually always burning fat every day, and it's building fat every day. Likewise, it's breaking down muscle and it's building muscle. This is happening every day. Our bodies are not static. Our bodies are constantly going through physiological change. So really what you're asking here is, when is there a net deficit? Right? When is there going to be a net total loss in fat? And really this comes down to, and I already said the word, deficit, calorie deficit. And this is why it's so important for you to be consistent with your food and know exactly what is going on. As you've heard me say, or maybe you haven't heard me say actually this challenge, we really want to get away from this. Please, I hope I lose some body fat, to let's make it happen. And part of that is being accountable, no pun intended, but let me be more specific here, or let me use the right word, accounting for your total energy intake. And this is the hardest part for people. There are many people who can exercise daily, but they don't lose weight, and this is because they're not accounting for their energy intake. So, just to sum up an answer to your question again here, when do you start burning body fat? When do you see that net loss every day? It's when we continue with that deficit daily. Second question here is it a myth that our body is resistant to giving up body fat? Yes, this is a myth. Now, if you are somebody who is very, very low in body fat, it can become harder for your body to lose body fat. That is, your body can become more metabolically efficient. It can be more energy efficient. This tends to happen when you're very, very, very low body fat, and where the body's just trying to conserve itself for its or in its fight to survive. But your body is never resistant so long as you're just carrying a reasonable amount of body fat. Your body is not going to be resistant to giving up body fat, okay? Unless you're some outlier who has some genetic disease or something. Third question. Can lifting heavier and heavier weights make me look bulky and too muscular as a woman? Okay, so let's be very clear here. When we're talking about bulk, we are really talking about more volume, right? We're talking about larger size, essentially. And if you stay the same body weight that you are, let's just say for argument's sake, you stay the same body weight that you are, and you replace the fat for muscle, you are now a smaller person. You are less voluminous. You are less bulky. So what does this mean? It really means that you will only stay bulky, or you will only gain bulk, if you consume too much. That is, if you maintain your fat levels, or if you add fat levels. Muscle is not going to make you look bulky. In fact, adding muscle is only going to make you more toned. This is what gives you that density. This is what gives you the athletic look. This is what gives you a harder and more defined shape, is muscle mass. Really what you're talking about here is the addition or maintenance of fat in addition to adding muscle. And this is not part of weight training. Weight training doesn't add fat. In fact, no form of exercise adds fat to your body. With all this being said, as we age, we are just losing muscle mass. So really all we're trying to do here is fight the loss in muscle mass. And we're trying to fight off many other things that we're losing as we age. Ultimately, weight training is your ticket to maintaining a more youthful body and a more youthful physiology. This idea of building bulk, I'm not sure where it's come from, but if you overconsume calories, okay, so perhaps you're an athlete. Let's take a typical example here, a football lineman. These would be, this could be an example of somebody who wants to add more bulk. That is, they want to add muscle, but they certainly want to add more overall weight. And so they are adding fat at the same time. Lifting weights will not make you bulky. Lifting weights will add some muscle tissue, especially in the beginning. If you're new to weight training, it will add some muscle tissue. But this is not, or don't confuse this with body fat. Okay? Remember, more muscle mass is going to help you to lose body fat. More muscle mass is going to help you to become smaller. Muscle takes up less room than body fat. Muscle mass helps to burn body fat. Okay, let's get to the message of the day. And you've heard me say this before, but I'll say it again. You are a recent reflection of your past. You are just a recent reflection of what you've done. There is no diet that you can follow. There's no change in your eating regime that you can follow and then resort back to your old way of being and expect to maintain the losses or gains, however you want to look at it, to maintain the change that you acquired throughout the change that you implemented. That is, you just have to follow something that is sustainable. If you change what you're doing, you're going to reflect the change that you made. If you add in a bunch more calories after this, and we'll talk about this because you will be able to add more calories in, but it's a different kind of process. But if you just suddenly resort back to what you were doing, you are just going to resort back to the way that you looked, or very similar to, okay? Perhaps you're still exercising, so it won't be quite that. But my point is, what you choose to do, the way you choose to eat, what you choose to do with your lifestyle, that will just reflect what you are currently doing, right? Okay, you are just a recent reflection of your past, especially if you're talking physically. This applies to other aspects too of your life. Positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, for the love of God, give some gratitude, and I'll talk to you all very soon. See you guys.